In tonight's Fact or Fiction, we are looking into yet another claim about The Simpsons predicting a big news event. The story this time is that the iconic TV show eerily predicted the outbreak of the coronavirus.
For over 30 years, The Simpsons has been more than just a hilarious cartoon. It's been strangely predictive of real-world events. From mind control through music to the possibility of a nuclear disaster.
No, this can't be happening!
The show has consistently mirrored the unexpected twists and turns of our world. Now with 2025 fast approaching, what else has The Simpsons predicted?
Wake up, everybody! It's World War III!
What crazy Simpsons scenarios could come true in 2025? In this video, we will look into Simpsons predictions for 2025. AI robots. The Simpsons are kind of spooky when it comes to predicting the future, especially with technology. Take Treehouse of Horror 14, where Homer loses his job due to an alcohol test, hinting at a future where robots take over jobs, something that's happening now with AI. By 2025, robots could be doing a lot more than just assisting. They could be taking over entire roles.
What do you think your greatest skills are?
Well, I would say that one of my greatest skills is my ability to interact with humans in a conversational manner.
Another episode has Homer and his friends training AI robots, a thought that felt crazy back then but is happening today. But just like in the 1994 Itchy and Scratchy Land episode where robots go rogue, there are real warnings about AI turning against us.
I look at their hands, which have turned into buzzsaws. And
With AI advancing so fast, we might be in for some big changes by 2025. What other Simpsons predictions should we look out for in 2025? Could The Simpsons be the ultimate fortune teller? What you are about to hear will blow your mind. Apple Vision Pro. The Simpsons may have seen the future when they showed Springfield residents using virtual reality headsets in their 2016 episode Friends and Family. The characters used the headsets to travel anywhere, finish tasks, and enjoy life without moving a muscle. Sound familiar? This looks a lot like Apple's Vision Pro, which lets users interact with a virtual world using just their eyes and hands.
A video that has gone viral on social media claims The Simpsons predicted the newly released Apple Vision Pro. And in the clip, characters are seen going about their daily lives. You can see them wearing virtual reality headsets.
The episode hilariously shows how people got so caught up in their virtual lives that they forgot about the real world. In 2025, with devices like the Vision Pro gaining popularity, will we see The Simpsons prediction come true? Maybe it's time to prepare for a future where virtual reality blends into our everyday lives in ways we never imagined. FIFA controversy. The Simpsons predicted the infamous FIFA bribery scandal in the episode You Don't Have to Live Like a Referee, Season 25, Episode 16. The storyline shows corrupt soccer officials being arrested and highlights bribery in international football. Interestingly, shortly after the episode aired in 2014, real-life FIFA executives were indeed arrested for corruption.
FIFA, the world governing body for soccer, is under fire yet again for corruption allegations related to the 2018 and 2022 World Cup bids,
making the prediction eerily accurate. The episode also features Homer standing firm against taking a bribe while working as a referee, a humorous take that contrasts sharply with real-world events. The show's writers even depicted Brazil losing to Germany in the World Cup, though in real life, this occurred during the semifinals instead of the finals. Looking ahead to 2025, given FIFA's continued controversies and global discussions about transparency in sports, it wouldn't be surprising if The Simpsons' foresight continues to resonate. Black hole. India's recent space launch might help us reveal new secrets about black holes, but a 2013 Simpsons episode, Treehouse of Horror 23, had something even scarier in mind. In this spooky tale, a small black hole appears in Springfield and starts pulling in objects. As it grows larger, it devours more and more, eventually consuming all of Springfield. But instead of destroying everything, the black hole transports the people and objects to another dimension, where extraterrestrial beings greet them as visitors from another realm. It's a wild idea that raises the question, could black holes really be gateways to other worlds? With space exploration advancing, could something like this actually be discovered in 2025? It's both exciting and terrifying to think about. Holographic technology. In the Simpsons episode titled Bart to the Future, we get a fun look into a future where holograms are used for everything, including sending messages. The episode is funny and impressive, but here's the big question. Could holograms actually replace phones by 2025? Could they become our main way to communicate? In that same episode, there's also a scene where a mailman delivers a letter to Bart in the form of a hologram, complete with the phrase, "smell you later," as a sign-off instead of a typical goodbye. This playful take on future communication is pretty fun to think about, especially when you realize that holograms are already starting to pop up in the real world. You can actually find HD 3 holograms in some stores like Best Buy. We're not living in a hologram-filled world just yet, but it's pretty clear that we're on our way. Zombie apocalypse. In The Simpsons, a zombie apocalypse sparked by a food-related crisis becomes a hilariously chilling prediction. In the Treehouse of Horror XX episode, a burger called Burger Square, made from cannibalistic cows, turns out to be a deadly creation. The first person to take a bite, Kent Brockman, quickly transforms into a zombie-like creature called a muncher. The virus spreads fast, turning Springfield into a zombie-infested chaos, leaving only the Simpson family to survive. Bart is mysteriously immune, and the family races to find safety amid the madness. While this wild scenario is full of laughs, it also paints a picture of how a food-borne disaster could spiral out of control. While a zombie outbreak may seem far-fetched, the idea of a food-related pathogen causing mass panic feels a bit too real. Nuclear Armageddon. The Simpsons has once again made a spine-tingling prediction about nuclear Armageddon, and fans can't help but be on edge. In one episode, Homer is the only survivor of a nuclear disaster, and this is a very unsettling thought that feels a little too close for comfort. Another plotline sees a secret organization setting off a nuclear explosion. What's even creepier? The world today is seeing rising nuclear tensions, especially with military threats in the air, like those from Russia. The Simpsons even predicts disruptions like solar flares or nuclear plant meltdowns that could bring chaos. And scientists today are warning about real threats, like cyber attacks on nuclear plants or solar storms messing with our tech. Is it really happening? Only time will tell, but this is a prediction to watch out for. Economic collapse. Imagine this. The Simpsons predicted the financial chaos of 2025, where an economic collapse has the potential to reshape the world as we know it. The show, with its knack for predicting the future, has already given us a glimpse of what this might look like. In one of the episodes, Treehouse of Horror 99, a disastrous economic fallout begins when Homer's job at the nuclear plant goes south, leading to societal breakdown. Fast forward to Back to the Future, and we see Lisa Simpson as president, inheriting a dire budget situation left by the previous administration. Her words echo real-world struggles. As you know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump. Could 2025 see the fulfillment of these Simpsons predictions? If history repeats itself, we might be in for an economic roller coaster, with financial disasters and political power shifts reshaping everything we know. Moving to Mars. One of the most thrilling predictions from The Simpsons is the colonization of Mars. In a standout episode, Lisa and Marge embark on a mission to build a habitat on the Red Planet. While Lisa volunteers for a one-way trip, Marge isn't too thrilled. To stop her, the whole family signs up. The show imagines Mars colonization happening before 2026, though the mission initially fails. Lisa and Marge make it to Mars in 2051, but in a surprising twist, Lisa decides to move to Venus instead. This wild scenario might seem out there, but it aligns with Elon Musk's real-life ambitions for Mars. His SpaceX program is pushing for space travel and aiming to make Mars home for humanity. In fact, many have already applied for this mission, eager to make this space dream a reality. Hover cars. In 2005, The Simpsons predicted that Bart and Lisa would one day use a machine to look into their future. In this vision, Marge leaves Homer after he spends all their money on an underwater house and a hover car. The hover car, though a bit bumpy, takes them through a quantum tunnel, and the scene feels pretty futuristic. Then, in a 1992 episode of Asterisk, Itchy and Scratchy Land Asterisk, we see an older Homer and Bart walking down the street, passing by a hover car on their way to the cinema. By then, hover cars have become as common as any other mode of transportation. Fast forward to today, and while hover cars are still a dream for most, The Simpsons might not be too far off. In other episodes, Bart and Lisa cruise around the city in hover cars, showing us a future where they're the primary way of getting around. With all the advancements in tech and things like Elon Musk's work on electric vehicles, it's not too crazy to think we might see hover cars by 2025. Could The Simpsons have gotten this right? Let's wait and see. Autonomous vehicles. In The Simpsons, self-driving cars take a turn for the worse in the episode Baby You Can't Drive My Car. While self-driving vehicles are a huge leap forward, this episode shows how things can go wrong when technology doesn't work as expected. Homer and Marge end up in a self-driving car, and Homer gets confused about how to steer, only for the car to continue moving even when he needs a bathroom break. It's an unsettling thought, right? In real life, we've seen the development of self-driving cars, though they're still a work in progress. Companies like Tesla and Waymo are making strides, but challenges remain, from safety concerns to the legal side of things. There's also the issue of accidents caused by malfunctioning tech, just as The Simpsons predicted, like people walking into traffic while distracted by their VR headsets or having a self-driving car fail to stop in time. But all of these problems will be solved just in time for 2025, and we will get to fully see autonomous vehicles on our roads without major hiccups. Curling gold medalist. In 2025, The Simpsons' prediction about curling will be even more remarkable. In the 2010 episode Boy Meets Curl, Homer, Marge, and the Skinners are seen training in curling and later competing for Team USA at the Winter Olympics. They face off against Sweden in the final, and against all odds, they win the gold medal. The episode aired with this fictional storyline, but it turned out to be eerily accurate. Fast forward to the 2018 Winter Olympics, where the U.S. men's curling team made history by winning their first ever Olympic gold medal, beating Sweden in the final match, just as The Simpsons predicted. The team, led by John Schuster, became national heroes, clinching the gold in a dramatic 10-7 victory over Sweden. This win went viral because the U.S. had never won Olympic gold in curling before, and the match became one of the most memorable moments of the 2018 Games.
Winning an historic gold medal in Pyeongchang, we welcome to the floor of the big board the U.S. men's curling team, John Schuster, Tyler George, Matt Hamilton, John Landsteiner, and Joe Polo.
Schuster and his team faced a lot of pressure, but they pulled off an incredible victory, cementing their place in Olympic history. What makes the prediction even more impressive is that The Simpsons had predicted this event more than 8 years before it happened. Virtual dining. In one unsettling Simpsons episode, the show takes a futuristic dive into virtual reality. While they might not have predicted the exact rise of VR, they definitely saw its potential dangers. Set in 2030, Homer and Marge use VR glasses and feeding tubes to experience virtual fudge, with Homer humorously complaining that virtual fudge tastes like crap. You'd think this no-calorie food would help Homer shed some pounds, but it doesn't. In real life, a company called Aerobanquets RMX has made virtual dining a reality, and even Royal Caribbean is experimenting with VR dining on their cruises. Picture this. Each bite of food transports you to a new virtual setting. Sounds cool, right? But here's the catch. People start wandering around with their VR headsets, causing accidents on the streets. In the show, Homer and Marge's odd way of eating through a feeding tube while plugged into a VR headset raises the question, could VR really change the way we eat and interact with the world? Sure, it sounds fun and futuristic, but as the episode warns, too much immersion in virtual worlds might lead to people losing touch with reality. So could this be the future of dining and living? Well, it seems like we're already heading that way. Large-scale environmental disaster. Who remembers the Simpsons movie from 2007? You know, the one where Homer somehow manages to dump a ton of pig poop into Springfield Lake, kicking off an environmental crisis of epic proportions? Naturally, the government steps in and wraps the town in a gigantic bubble to quarantine the disaster. A bit over the top? Sure, but the whole environmental mess? Well, that feels a little too close to home, doesn't it? Fast forward to 2025, and there are predictions of climate change right in our faces, rising sea levels, extreme weather, wildfires, and all that good stuff. While a bubble over Springfield might be a bit too extreme, it's not too far-fetched to imagine how these kinds of disasters could lead to huge, real-life problems. Take a look at cities like Miami and New York, which are gearing up for flooding, or California, battling constant wildfires. All this stuff may get worse in 2025, and it looks like we might be heading towards some serious environmental consequences unless we start taking action. Solar automobiles. In the Simpsons episode Paths to Glory, Lisa builds a solar-powered car to race in the alternative energy derby, only for a massive blimp from Duff Beer to block the sun and stop her just before the finish line. Classic Simpsons comedy, right? But here's the kicker. In 2025, solar cars could actually become a reality. Companies like Tesla and Lightyear are pushing forward with solar-powered vehicles that could reduce fuel costs and carbon footprints. Sounds like a win, right? But just like Lisa's race, the journey won't be smooth. Big corporate players like those in the fossil fuel industry might throw some shade, literally, at the idea. Still, solar cars are inching closer to reality, and by 2025, you might just be cruising along in a car powered by nothing but the sun. Baby translator. Envision a world where parents could finally understand every little cry their baby makes. In the Simpsons episode Lisa the Simpson, Martin Prince comes up with the ultimate invention, a baby translator. This device supposedly decodes infant babble into full-on English, and at first, the family just laughs it off as a joke. Marge even says, "You don't have to humor me." But surprisingly, it actually works. And what does baby Maggie say? "And lavish attention on me and entertain me." Talk about a game changer, right? In the episode, this invention opens up the possibility of parents truly understanding what their baby wants. No more guessing or feeling like you're playing detective all day. We're not quite there yet, but the idea is seriously cool. The conclusion of existence. The Simpsons have always been ahead of their time, but in one episode, they took it to a whole new level with a little apocalyptic drama. In a flash of pure Homer wisdom, he predicts the end of the world based on a passage from Revelation chapter 6, verse 13. Stars falling to earth, the rapture, the whole shebang. Sounds like your typical end of the world stuff, right? Homer tells his friends and family that the apocalypse is coming, and when the day finally arrives, everyone's waiting for some big dramatic moment. But here's the twist. Nothing really happens, except Homer finds himself in heaven, of all places. No dramatic battle, no fiery chaos, just a big ol' surprise that he's chilling in the afterlife. This episode reminds us that the end could come at any time, but maybe it won't be as exciting as we think. You know, just a little Simpsons twist on the whole doomsday scenario. Personalized medicine and genetic advancements. In the classic episode Homer the Heretic, Homer visits a futuristic medical office where technology can instantly identify his health issues. It's a quick, almost comedic way to show how advancements in medicine could lead to personalized care tailored to your very DNA. But here's the kicker. This is no longer just TV fantasy. By 2025, we might be living in a world where personalized medicine isn't just for the super rich or Hollywood elites. We're already seeing real breakthroughs with CRISPR gene editing technology and custom-tailored treatments that match your genetic makeup. Picture getting a health diagnosis where your doctor doesn't just guess, but actually knows exactly what's going on inside your body at the genetic level. Sounds like the future, right? Well, the future might just be here before we know it. The rise of 3D printed food. In the episode The Food Wife from season 23, Homer, Marge, and the kids are introduced to the futuristic world of 3D printed food. They get to taste a meal that's created by a 3D printer that builds food layer by layer, almost like a mini food factory. While this might have seemed like a hilarious, far-fetched concept back then, the idea of 3D printed food is no longer just a funny cartoon idea. It's becoming a reality, companies around the world are developing 3D printers that create food, using everything from chocolate to pizza dough. Some are even trying to make these techie meals more sustainable by printing foods with protein-rich ingredients like algae or plant-based substitutes. By 2025, we could be printing our meals at home, or at least grabbing a slice of pizza or a fancy dessert created by a printer in a restaurant. And who knows, with the rise of sustainability and innovation in food production, 3D printed food might become as common as microwaving a ready meal. Music-induced mind control. Some people consider the Simpsons episode New Kids on the Block from 2001 one of the creepiest they've ever seen. And honestly, it does give you chills. In this episode, Bart and his buddies, Milhouse, Nelson, and Ralph, form a boy band called Party Posse. But here's the kicker. This band isn't just a band. It's actually a secret operation by the US Navy to pump kids' brains full of subliminal messages.
They're recruiting people with subliminal messages.
Their hit song Drop the Bomb has a chorus that says Ivan et Nioje, which, when you flip it, actually says join the Navy.
Join the Navy.
Kind of spooky, right? And the strange part? This episode feels like it's creeping closer to reality. Some people argue that music, especially certain genres like hip-hop, has been used to brainwash listeners, and some even believe that music in general has been a tool used by elites to control the masses. Weird, but not entirely impossible, right? Music is everywhere, and it's powerful, so could it be used to mess with our minds? The Simpsons sure thought so. In this episode, the boy band's goal is way beyond just having fun. It's all about spreading a secret message to influence kids' thoughts, like a form of mind control. Which of these predictions excites you the most? Are you curious to see any of them happen in 2025? Video calls and smartwatches. In the episode that aired on March 19, 1995, which talks about Lisa's wedding, The Simpsons made a shocking prediction about video calls and smartwatches. This particular episode was surreal.
Simpsons also predicted the Apple Watch in 1995, 20 years before it was introduced.
Because it was set in the future where we see Lisa communicating with her family via a video call. It must be noted that at the time this was aired in the 90s, this technology was not available. This made the scene futuristic. This is not all because Lisa's fiancé was shown wearing a watch-like device that also functions as a communication tool, greatly resembling modern-day smartwatches. Fast forward to 2024, video calls and smartwatches are the order of the day with the advent of smartphones and phone applications like Skype and FaceTime. Smartwatches don't only tell time, but are used as accessories to track fitness, receive notifications, and even make calls. But that's not all, because the most amazing part of the video is yet to come. World War III. Season 11 contained an episode titled Barth to the Future, which aired on March 19th in the year 2000. In this episode, a startling prediction of the possibility of World War III was talked about.
Wake up, everybody! It's World War III! Ah! Quick, down to the fallout shelter. The bombs are dropping!
It showed a future where Lisa Simpson becomes the President of the United States after inheriting a country that was crumbling from Donald Trump. One of the scenes shows Lisa talking about the budget crisis she had inherited from her predecessors, which implied that things had gotten rock bottom before she took over.
You know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump. How bad is it, Secretary Van Houten?
We're broke.
The country is broke? How can that be?
Although the prediction of World War III hasn't come to pass as of now, the portrayal of a future riddled with global conflicts is eerily accurate in capturing the current anxieties of our time. With the ongoing tensions between nations like Israel and Palestine, for example, with world powers like the US and Russia at opposite sides, and the Ukraine-Russian war, all these are bases for another world war, if you think the post-virtual reality. Virtual reality gaming was predicted as far back as 1998 by The Simpsons in the episodes titled Friends and Family. This episode shows Homer and Marge eating a virtual fudge through a straw on their VR headsets. Back then, it looked like something impossible, but with the recent advancements in technology, impossibilities have been made possible. A real-life company named Aero Banquets RMX has made VR foods.
dining in virtual reality is pretty trippy.
It's tingly in my mouth.
It allows you to eat various foods such as sushi in Japan or a steak in Argentina while making use of VR to change your taste perception, thereby reframing the human mind and changing how we experience food. AI taking over jobs. Although many experts have since been sounding the alarm of the possibility of AI taking over people's jobs in years to come, it seems like the reality is here with us in 2024. However, The Simpsons has long predicted this as far back as 2012 with the episode titled Them Robot. This episode shows Homer losing his job due to Mr. Burns replacing all of the power plant's employees with robots. Mr. Burns says in this episode that humans will train the robots, then the robots would replace them. This is exactly how AI works in real life. In Japan, for example, real-life waiter robots are already replacing human waiters. There's also the belief that taxi drivers would be replaced by self-driving cars.
Fully autonomous cars picking up people and dropping them off just like a taxi, except the big difference is there's no driver.
ChatGPT would also replace some jobs, for example, coders, paralegals, financial advisors, stock traders, graphics designers, even translators. And of course, the training ChatGPT is based on was done by humans, which is much like what the episode of The Simpsons predicted. Kamala Harris becomes president. In the same Bart to the Future episode mentioned earlier, a surprising prediction about Kamala Harris becoming president was made, and this was in the form of Lisa being president of the United States. After entering power, Lisa mentions that she inherited a country that was in tough financial situations from the previous president, which was implied as Donald Trump. And this prediction came through, however, in part, when Kamala Harris became the Vice President of the United States in 2021.
Look at this picture. Lisa is also seen wearing a purple suit and pearl necklace, which is seemingly identical to what Vice President Kamala Harris wore on Inauguration Day,
which made her the first female Black and first Asian American to hold this position. And if anything happens to the current president, Kamala would become the president, thereby fulfilling the prediction made by The Simpsons. It's surreal and shocking how a cartoon has the ability to predict such futuristic events. AI Apocalypse. In the episode Bart Gets an F from Season 2, which aired on October 11, 1990, The Simpsons made a chilling prediction about an AI apocalypse. In this episode, Bart Simpson faces the prospect of failing the 4th grade and seeks help from Martin Prince, who is an overachieving classmate of his. In one scene, Bart daydreams about robots taking over the world, with machines ruling over humanity and enslaving humans. This humorous depiction of a dystopian future seemed far-fetched at the time. However, fast-forwarding to our present day, and the growing concerns about the potential dangers of artificial intelligence have become more common.
This is extremely important. I think the danger of AI is much greater than the danger of nuclear warheads, by a lot.
While we haven't experienced a full-blown AI apocalypse, there are growing concerns about the misuse of AI technology and its potential impact on society. Issues such as AI replacing humans at jobs, privacy concerns, and the development of autonomous weapons have raised alarm bells even among experts. Disney buying Fox. In Season 10, the episode When You Dish Upon a Star, which aired on November 8, 1998, The Simpsons made a perfect prediction of the acquisition of 20th Century Fox by Disney. Homer in this episode becomes a gossip columnist and befriends Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger, who are shown living in lavish mansions. Whilst driving to the house, a sign was seen in the background which shows 20th Century Fox as a division of Walt Disney's company. This little and unnoticeable joke turned out to be a prediction because in December of 2017, Disney announced its acquisition of 20th Century Fox and other holdings of 21st Century Fox.
Disney and 21st Century Fox, as well as consumers. The new combined company will include Fox's movie and TV studios and cable networks, and together the two companies will have 46 million subscribers around the world.
For a staggering amount valued at about $71 million 2 years later. This merger brought together two of the biggest giants in the world of entertainment. Disney gained control over Fox's vast library of contents, including The Simpsons itself. Trump's 2024 presidential bid. The accuracy of The Simpsons' predictions has always brought the questions as to how exactly the show gets it right. Perhaps the writers and producers of The Simpsons are making use of dark magic. However, they took it up a notch with their most dramatic prediction about Trump's 2024 presidential ambition. On Tuesday, November 15, 2022, former President Donald Trump, arguably one of the most controversial presidents, depending on who you ask, decided to reclaim the throne he lost in 2021. In his usual grand style, Trump took the stage and announced his ambition. That was when Al Jean, the screenwriter for The Simpsons, decided it was their time to shine again. Sharing a scene from a 2015 episode of the animated series, Jean showed the world that they had predicted this long before Trump declared his intentions.
I just started drawing pictures of Homer floating around in Trump's hair. And, you know, it's this whole sort of back and forth thing that they write something, I draw something, and, you know, and then the team draws something. It's fantastic.
In the 2015 episode titled Bart to the Future, Homer Simpson flies past a sign in the background that reads, Trump 2024. Coincidence or predictions? We don't know. However, this was way before Trump was ever president. These different predictions with their level of accuracy has been shocking to everyone, but the next one takes it to another level. Tragic submarine accident. A prediction that left a bitter taste in everyone's mouth after it came true was the tragic Russian submarine accident. In a 1994 episode of The Simpsons titled Marge Gets a Job, we see Homer working as a safety inspector at a plant. One scene shows a submarine imploding due to a design flaw, trapping and killing all the crew inside. This grim prediction sadly came true on August 12, 2000, when the K-141 Kursk submarine sank in the Barents Sea. All 118 crew members died because of a faulty torpedo that caused the submarine to sink.
Russian cities have held ceremonies remembering the 118 sailors who died when a nuclear submarine sank in the Barents Sea.
Reports say nearby ships felt a small explosion, followed by a bigger one. This accident is even more tragic because, although ships nearby felt the explosion, the Russian Navy didn't know an accident had happened. As a result, no search and rescue operations started until 6 hours later. When the submarine was found 16 hours after the rescue operation began, it was already 354 feet deep on the ocean floor. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Also, click the next video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.